The Get On Living Safely campaign is sponsoring this podcast to remind you to keep your spending in the community. Supporting local businesses keeps food on the table for our friends and neighbors. Follow them on social media and learn more at getonlivingsafely.com. We talked with Mary Cate Wesling, director of the production for The Miracle on 34th Street. We talk early interests, her path to the La Crosse Community Theater, producing a radio show and a pay-per-view video simultaneously, behind the scenes of a production, and how they adapted with COVID. You can find more conversations on our website, lacrosselocal.com. I'm Amy.
And I'm Brent.
And this is La Crosse Local.
My name is Mary Cate Wesling. I was born and raised in Rockford, Illinois. And my first theatrical production was when I was 9 years old at a local community theater in Rockford, Illinois. I loved the experience so much that I have revolved my life around theater. I've been involved in a production every year since that first year, sometimes multiple at a time. I've been an actor, a crew member, a director, a designer, a choreographer, you name it, pretty much I've done it.
Wow. So I guess I can answer this question, but what led you to the La Crosse Community Theater?
So I actually came to the La Crosse area for college. I attended Viterbo University, and while I was there, I participated in a production at LCT, Jesus Christ Superstar, directed by Greg Parmenter. And it was such a great experience, not only from a community theater aspect, but it also felt very professional as well. We had the community, our cast was very close, very tight knit. We also had pretty high expectations, and that really drew me in to the LCT theater family. I began to work on the weekends teaching classes as part of their education department, and then I was hired as their patron services manager, and I'm super excited to be given the opportunity to be a director now.
So you have The Miracle on 34th Street, a show which recently played on the radio, and now you have your pay-per-view version coming out.
Mm-hmm.
What's the process like when thinking about both formats, radio and then video?
It's definitely interesting because typically with the radio show, it's a regular theatrical production. I have not been involved in a radio show where part of it is recorded for people to see, but the other part is recorded to be on the radio. So it was definitely a creative process in that I had to create something that would be audibly interesting. So no dead air, a lot of different voices, and I also had to create something that was visually interesting because people are going to pay to see it. So, we had to make sure that both of those elements, the audible and the visual, were to a certain high standard, which our actors and our crew members more than met that challenge.
Talking to some of your actors, I could just imagine the process of doing that when, some actors might just use their bodies and shrug. You don't know what he's doing on the radio. So I just wonder how you tackled that.
Well, a lot of it, I feel, just really came from their attitude and their expression of their voice. So I've been working over the past, couple weeks in rehearsals on just really getting them to understand how they need to express things through their voice. And I've encouraged them to do physical movements as well, not only for the videotaped aspect, but I feel that the more natural we are in our expression, the more that will come through in an audio recording. So if they're feeling confused, I'm like, go ahead and make body motions with what you think that would be like, because it does translate very well, not only visually, but audibly.
So what can people expect from the video portion of it? I hear there's behind the scenes components to it as well.
Yeah. So the video portion, the show has been recorded, but the recording will be interjected with the cast, the crew, and our designers really talking about the process. This is such a revolutionary way that we're doing theater right now, not only for La Crosse Community Theater, but I think even in the area, to have something that's been taped and something that's done with COVID procedures in place. So the actors will be talking about their experience with performing during a pandemic, as well as how they prepared for the roles, knowing that not only would they be seen, but they really had to make their voices interesting, and they had to play multiple characters. We're working with a cast of 6 with 2 understudies playing over 30 characters. So, I mean, it was tricky, but they each have their own process that I think just works really well. And they definitely speak to that throughout the recording.
Kind of referenced there a little bit, but how are you adapting the production with COVID? You know, besides the general wash your hands and stuff like that, how do you adapt a show?
Well, we really have to thank Dylan McCardle with the Weber Center. He researched thoroughly how all different theaters across the nation are currently having performances while also dealing with the pandemic. And he created a protocol that starts before we even enter the building. Every single person must be screened and their temperatures taken. They're asked a series of questions. Only after they answer all the questions and their temperature check perform successfully can they enter the building. For the rehearsals and the performances, they are constantly spaced 6 feet apart. The rehearsals are masked, and, you know, every single thing that they touch must be sanitized. It doesn't matter if it's a passing hand on a chair to help them go up a step. Now we have to sanitize that. It's definitely very rigorous. It's a little tricky to get used to, but our cast has been super supportive, very understanding and cooperative. And because of that, we haven't had a single issue with COVID. You know, we were able to do this production very safely only by following the rigorous protocol that the Weber Center set up.
So if people want to find out more, grab the video, where's the best avenue for them to go to?
lacrossecommunitytheater.org is where the pay-per-view can be purchased. That's also where you can make donations, especially towards just our regular campaigns and our end-of-year campaign. You know, La Crosse Community Theater, we thrive only when the people in our community truly help us. We need you now more than ever, not only us, but all of the small businesses in the La Crosse area. I strongly encourage anyone who can and is able to help, please, please, please go and donate at lacrossecommunitytheater.org/donate or to other local small businesses as well. We need it, and whatever you can give, we are so incredibly appreciative of it.
La Crosse Local Podcast is a production of River Travel Media. Do you have an interview idea you would like to share with us? Message us on Facebook at La Crosse Locals. Subscribe to the La Crosse Local Podcast on your favorite podcast app. If you like us, rate us 5 stars. We thank you for it.